You do realise that Bayonetta uses her hair as clothes, right? Make my day.
This game got me so involved in it that I forgot to take down notes. I was enjoying the game so much that I completely forgot about reviewing it, and I had to go back to review it. So here we go with Bayonetta. There's a lot of dirty talk and sarcastic comments in Bayonetta. If you don't have a sense of humour, you might want to stay away. But those of you who do, there's going to be parts where you just can't stop laughing with its over-the-top humour. What made me burst out laughing at times. Bayonetta is a hack and slash game with a strong personality that I'm not going to forget about anytime soon. It's a chapter based game, and at the start of playing this I had no expectations about this. I heard about it but never got around to playing it until now, and I could hit myself from not playing Bayonetta sooner. It's a very action-packed game. For characters, you play as Bayonetta, who's got a wild personality. That just interested me right from the start, with the sexy talk to the enemies and the smashing shit up with the weird comments that she makes.
I feel like a fucking celebrity in this town. See that? Everyone rushes at me like crazed fans. They still haven't figured out that I don't give autographs.
It's hard to say what the story is about without spoiling it, so here's my attempt to do so. The story is kind of hard to follow at first. I found it a bit overwhelming until I got about 3 or 4 chapters into it. It's about these two clans,
The Ambro Witches and the Lumbran Sages.
Bayonetta wakes up after 500 years in the bottom of a lake with hardly no memory. She knows that she's a witch and certain other things. As Bayonetta goes through the campaign, more of her past is revealed in one way or the other. Bayonetta does not waste time, it throws you right into the action straight away for you to get used to the controls. At this point you can't die as you fall with this clock tower and fighting the enemies. Finding out what the buttons do, and I think that's the thing that I liked about this tutorial and its way of learning. And later on the tutorial is short and sweet. You learn them as you go through the stages as new ones come up, so it doesn't overwhelm you too quickly. It can take a bit of time to get used to the controls, yet once when you got them, you got them, and you'd be doing all these special moves and great combos in no time. The gameplay animations are stunning, especially when you do certain moves and unlock new ones. If you dodge at last moment, it slows down time, and this is called witch time, and this is what makes Bayonetta shine from other games, to see how much combos that you can do before the mode runs out. You can pick up certain type of weapons that the enemy drops. They all feel different and adds to the game. It's kind of like the icing on the cake. All the weapon sounds seems to be on par. I never noticed anything out of place, and the enemy sounds are good. You don't get any what the fuck moments or audio cut out. And I like all the different type of enemy variety. One will scatter across the screen, the other one will roar to paralyse you for a second. I never got bored of these enemies. I like the fact that the game has a good checkpoint system, so you don't have to worry about starting the chapter over again. You can turn it off and come back to it later, and it roughly will be in the same place where you left off. There are some light puzzle elements with these statues that you have to repair by defeating the enemies, then they activate, then you get this sunbeam thing that tries to hit you so you can activate witch time and complete the puzzle. They're not hard, it's more like once when you've done it the first time, they're easy after that. And at certain points throughout the campaign you can walk on walls. They are triggered by the moon when it shows. I've got to say that this is fun when Bayonetta is fighting on the wall. It adds to the enjoyment of the game. Also, the game had me in hysterics at time when Bayonetta activates her special moves to fill up the bar, like spanking the enemy.
You've been naughty.
The unique boss battles are to die for, and I praise the artist who came up with these. It's something surprising on each boss fight. I just wanted to know what was coming up next. It kind of got me too excited for the next boss fight. Of what fucked up thing I was fighting, and the game keeps on throwing more and more of these fucked up boss fights, and I loved every minute of it. There's mid-boss fight checkpoints what I like because of the length of some of the bosses are a bit long, however they don't feel long because I was enjoying the fight. I thought the summons were very creative that Bayonetta uses. She uses her hair to summon these weird monster things to finish off the boss battle. And I thought the motorbike bit was fresh, and just when things started to get a bit stale, it throws this in, and it grabbed my attention right back onto the screen. The game is set in chapters, and each session of the chapter have these checkpoints where you get these trophies where you beat that section, and at the end of this stage it gives you your total so you can go back and beat your own score time and time again and improve. The level design is basically follow the path what's laid out in front of you. It can be very impressive areas at time, and you might get a bit of deja vu from time to time where it recycles certain parts of the stage in multiple chapters. There are button mashing moments what make my thumb ache now and again, especially when it goes on one on top of the other. Usually I don't care about these things, but with this game it works, and it surprised me that the developers made it fun. And for that, I'm going to give them a trophy. And there are some quick time events as well, and if you don't know they're coming, the chance of you hitting them first time round is small. They're very quick and sneaky, unless you've got reflexes of a sleeping cat when they get woke up and they jump like 50 foot up in the air. You're probably going to miss it if you don't have that. There is also a creating system of lollipops what you can make to give Bayonetta an advantage in battle, like the red one and the yellow lollipop, and the recipe sheet right beside it so you know exactly what you're making. You can buy upgrades from Hell's weapons store. Some of them you do have to unlock, and you can buy techniques here as well. I like the fact that you can try the techniques out before buying them. I wish more games imported this, and it also has an outfit store to give Bayonetta that new look. And there's also an item shop and accessory shop as well. The accessories are expensive but well worth buying them. They give you new types of powers in combat. There's also these halo points in chapters where they give you a challenge like use witch time or stay in the air, and usually they are challenging and annoyingly addictive with a prize at the end. At first I didn't think too much of it, but after time I got addicted to it. There are collectibles throughout the chapters. Witch hearts give you more health and the moon jewellery gives you more magic. And then there's these crows and the collectible books what tell you more about the story. There is a little cool mini arcade shooter at the end of the chapter where you can shoot these angels, get points, then exchange these points for items, or you can exchange them for halo points and purchase things out of the shop. I like this mini arcade shooter. Angel Attack! It got me saying Angel Attack every time when it came on. So I was more involved in the game than what I actually supposed to be expected to. And well, I enjoyed the arcade shooter and racking up points and getting more items than what I'm supposed to. There is a level map to show where you are. I like the little wooden doll, it's different from other games. I've got to say that this isn't an easy game. You will die a lot, especially on the hardest setting. I found that out, and it can be very brutal, especially if you're trying to get all platinums on every single level. If you like challenging games, this has got 5 difficulty settings. Apart from the last 2, has to be unlocked by playing the campaign on normal and hard, and the hardest one is just batshit crazy insane, especially if you're trying to get all platinum medals on it. It's torture. It's called non-stop infinite climax. It does add to the replayability to the game. However, witch time is disabled in this mode. The graphics are good for the time when this came out and looks nice, especially on the PC version. That's the one what I'm showing here. And I never noticed anything dropped in frame rates. It held steady at 60 frames throughout the whole game. It only dropped on the cutscenes to 30 frames, and it can be a bit jarring from going from gameplay to cutscene. I thought the cutscenes themselves were shocking, especially at the beginning of the game with these angels coming down, then it becomes a bloody fucking mess, literally.
Beautiful.
Some of them do go on a bit too long, however you can skip these, and then there's these film caps. They're uniquely presented, but I prefer the cutscenes over this. As for the soundtrack, it's alright, but nothing really jumps out in mine. But others will argue that it's got a brilliant soundtrack. I think most of it because I was concentrating too much on the screen to notice the soundtrack. So it's really a difference of opinion here. As for characters, they're well done, but I can't recall anyone's name apart from the main protagonist and Sean. For the voice acting, I think that is brilliantly done. Yeah, there are some weird moments in some of the dialogue, however you can tell that this was planned where it fits into the game's sense of humour.
That bridge in these heels? I don't suppose I can call a cab to get me to the island.
For how long the game is, I clocked on around about 12 hours on my first playthrough, yet this game is meant to be played multiple times to unlock everything. Especially if you're a completionist, I can see it lasting around about 60 hours or more and be very torturous getting all platinum medals on it. If you can do it, good luck to you going for it. So in the end, I'm going to give it a 9 out of 10 and I definitely recommend it. It's one of those games, it takes a while to get a grip on you, but once when it does, you can't put the controller down. So have you played Bayonetta? What did you think of it? Leave it in the comments below. Until next game, you get it, I'm fucking off. Especially if you're a completionist, I can see it lasting around about 60 hours or more, and it's going to be torture for you to get all platinum. And I pity the fuckers who do. Bayonetta is a hack and slash game with a strong personality that you're not going to forget about anytime soon. It's a chapter based game, and at the start of playing this I had no expectations about this. I heard about it but never got around to playing it until now, and I could hit myself from not playing in it. Yeah. There is a little cool arcade shooter at the end of the chapter where you can rank up in points and exchange them for items or more points